Right now, this moment, you can do something quite remarkable. And I can too, and I'm seeking to with all my heart. You can say yes to this moment. You can say, I will not just be here passively. I will not drift in my mind, in my heart. I will be fully present. I will seek right now to listen to God. I will try to listen to what is good and what could be uplifting and what could inspire me. And I will try to say yes with everything inside me. I want to invite you to do that. We're learning how to choose well and choose wisely, and to learn to say yes in each moment, to the presence and calling of God in every moment. That is the great adventure of life. Teacher on this is the Swiss physician Paul Tournier. Here's what he writes. This is page 175 of The Meaning of Persons. The other day, he says, I saw again an elderly maiden lady. Just brief word here. This book was written, 70 years ago. We would not use that kind of language today. Part of the wisdom of learning how to read old books is learning what to look past and how to not read with chronological snobbery and recognize if I were in that day, I would probably use language like that person does. Who has undergone and is still enduring very great suffering, but whose life is full of the radiance that comes from a personal attachment to Jesus Christ. Each time she comes to see me, I discover in her, in spite of the limitations that age and ill health impose upon her, some new maturity, some new fruit of her life with God. When quite young, she lost her fiancé in tragic circumstances. At one blow, all her joyous hopes of a home, husband, children crumbled away. And 100+ years ago, for a woman in that society, that would have been even more self-limiting and defining than it would be in our day. Her faith upheld her, but the wound never healed. Now she tells me that through prayer, she has come to see how, in her trial, she had shut up her heart against life. She had said no to the life that was denying her so much. Do you not think, she adds, that it's possible that that attitude compromised my health and my vitality? Tournier goes on, do not misunderstand me. Her life has been a fruitful one. Fruitful in personal contacts and in spiritual children. And yet what she tells me now has an arresting ring of truth about it. In the intimate dialogue that she has with her Lord, a new spring of life has welled up and overflowed the dam of her affliction. A new spring of life is overflowing the dam of her affliction. She has been able to listen to the divine voice and reply to it. To say yes to God is also to say yes to life, even if it is a maimed and crippled life. It is to turn from the negative to the positive, for the call of God is positive. Many people identify the voice of God with the voice of conscience, but it goes far beyond that. The voice of God is not heard only in reproof, and when he does reproof, it is to call us to liberation and action. He calls, he sends, he gives a purpose to life. He moves us and thus awakens us at the deepest level. God called Amos, the insignificant herdsman following his flock. God takes him out of his old, limited, automatic, automaton, reflexive life and makes him a prophet before the people and the king. Introspection, self-contemplation would never have led Amos to discover his person. He reveals it as he answered God's call. Here, once more, we see the nature of life and of the persons. They are not static, but dynamic. Everywhere in the Bible, we see people thus touched by the divine dialogue so that they find their true dimension. I love this. Their stature increases and bursts the seam of the cramped garment of their persona, their image, their old, small, limited, fleshly, God-opposed self. We are here at the heart of the issue of the person. We can see why introspection alone fails. However carefully and candidly a man examines himself today, he will not find what God will awaken in him tomorrow. His person, deepest self, that being created and called and redeemed by God, is not a fixed point in time, not a datum, Tournier says, but a potential, a development, a plan known to God, and God will lead him day to day by day, towards its fulfillment. So today, say yes to your life, however maimed or crippled your life may appear to you. Let go of the itch to cling to what is gone and that you cannot bring back. I have a close and intimate relationship with my skin doctor because my skin always has one issue or another. I was with him today, and one of the problems was I have this tremendous itching going on in my scalp. I don't need to say any more about it than that, but he had a prescription for me, and I'll tell you what it wasn't. It was not scratch it real good. Just keep scratching that itch as good as you can, because one day that itch will be satisfied and you will be okay. Now, there is hope for me, but it will not come by scratching the itch that will never be satisfied. It will only come, that itch cannot be satisfied, it can only be healed. And there is a kind of medicine, there's a kind of therapy for it, where eventually it will recede. I will never be able to scratch it into satisfaction, but it will begin to ebb so that I can feel other feelings, better and nobler and truer feelings. Let go of what is no longer and cannot be. I'll tell you part of why this is so meaningful to me. Also today, I went to a place where for the last several years, when I think about it, or on the few occasions that I might go there, it just brings me lots of sadness. But I found today, I was there with a good friend, and it was a beautiful day, and I have been doing lots and lots of work around this, and today it gave me great joy to be there. And to be able to let go of what is gone and will not come back, but to be filled with joy and gratitude at the goodness of so many moments. And I found myself just driving around, going to a few different primary sites, primary spots that had been painful for me and just blessing. And I was so grateful. And then Nancy and I met there, and we talked, and we prayed, and it was so good to be able to say yes to the life that I have now, not the life that I thought I would be, a life that misses some things that I wish I would rather not missing, but it is my life. It is my calling. This is what I say yes to. And you can do that. I can do that each moment, each day. Say yes today. Make that your word as often as you're able to say yes today to the people in your life. When you are at work, when you are at home, when you are with a friend, when a thought comes up, when somebody asks for a favor, when somebody requests you to run an errand, or there's some good thing that you, today, when you can enjoy something, when something good could come along and you could just stop and look at it and listen to it and see God's presence in it. Today, yes to life, yes to you. I was talking to a very good friend of mine today, and he was telling me about how recent days have been filled with worry, particularly because, as you may know, the economy has been very volatile, and he was watching the money that he had invested shrink down and tempted to get worried about that. And then his wife has been helping to give rides to a woman who is just getting a driver's license, is here from another country, who has no money in the bank and is getting on. And so what my friend did was to go in with another person and buy a car for that woman. And they're actually setting up in the benevolence fund of their church an account so that when that woman is able, she will pay it back into that fund, and then they will buy a car for somebody else with that. And then they'll pay it back, and it will go on and on and on. And it's a strange thing When I look at myself, when I look at my world, when I look at problems, inflation, loss, whatever it is, I can just get crippled and want to say no to that problem, to that economy, to that maimed and crippled life. But then when I look at somebody else and think, I could help, I could be used by God, I could give, a kind of strength wells up inside us when we are giving that does not come when we are hoarding or protecting or cringing or worrying, because then we are stepping into the reality of the presence of the kingdom of God in our midst, where little birds get taken care of and flowers get more beautifully clothed than the Kardashians every day. This is your moment. This is your day. Say yes. Choose wisely. See you next time.
Thanks for joining us here at BecomeNew.me. You can join the conversation on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. If you'd like to receive the daily emails that go along with each video, let us know at becomenew.me@gmail.com. Or if you want prayer, you can text us at 855-888-0444. We'll see you next time.